I know what to do, I just don't do it. I used to get asked all the time, what are you doing to lose weight? Or, hey, did you realize, like, I didn't know the size of my butt, first of all. This is what's coming up for me as I'm saying this. They would say, did you know you're starting to gain some more weight again? Because I was on and off diets, this whole roller coaster, like a lot of you, I'm sure. And I would have people who helpfully, lovingly would comment, and they would say things like, uh, did you know, or like, do you even know what to do? Why aren't you doing it? And those were the people who were brave enough to say something, or stupid enough, maybe depending on the day, I guess. But whenever I would take them out of my thought process, right? And I would start to say, I know what to do, I just don't do it. Why? Why? Where is that coming from? Why did I know what to do? And I was so adamant. I think, first of all, I didn't want to be wrong. I wanted to be in control of whether or not I did it. And those were some knee-jerk responses that I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. I have people tell me that all the time. As soon as they find out I'm a weight loss coach, it brings on all kinds of ideas for them too on what they should be doing, how they should be handling it. And then it's like it's a trickle down effect of justifications with it. I know what to do, I just don't do it. So let's break that apart for a second, because it gets said so often. I said it hundreds of times. I've had it said to me even more than that. And so let's just stop for a moment. Let's see what that means. I know what to do. Do you really? Because do you really know what to do? Are you overcomplicating it? Because that's not knowing what to do. Are you following old diet rules? Because that's not what you want to do right now. That's what you were told to do in the past. Are you imposing restrictions on specific foods or entire food groups and think that's what you would need to do? All of those things are what we think we need to do to lose weight. And so, as you're saying, I know what to do, maybe those are the things you're thinking you need to do. What else might you need to do or think that you need to do? You're usually thinking about every one of those diets that you've done and how those worked. You're probably thinking about every friend who's ever lost weight or has told you about weight loss, or every commercial on TV. Those are all going to be things that you're hearing in your head. And those are going to be what you think you already know to do, because you see people around you every day who are of an average size, and you think they do it. And so it cannot be that hard. It's just, I need to do those things and then I can do it too. Lots of comparison there. Lots of ideas on how this is supposed to be. So when you are saying that, I know what to do, I just don't do it, I want you to hear this quote, okay? There's a couple of them, because when I really started searching, I heard a colleague say this quote one time, and then I wasn't sure where it came from. So I wanted to make sure I knew where it came from. So she said something about contempt prior to examination. And so another version was contempt prior to investigation, I think is actually the one she said. But as Paley said, that intellectual vice. He said it's just an intellectual vice, is what Paley said, or the height of ignorance is what Einstein said. And I just blabbed all that out. So let me clarify that, because I'm sure if you are still listening to this, you're trying to figure out what the heck I'm trying to say. Let's say here that if you are saying something, I know what to do. Do you really? Let's investigate this. Let's examine it, is what we're saying. Because if we say, I just don't do it, then like he said, it's just an intellectual vice, or it's the height of ignorance, as Einstein said, because we did not actually take the time to take all the steps down. We're just assuming that we know, and so we brush it under the rug. So with that being said, That one hit me, and just like to think about it for a second, about contempt prior to examination. So we've already decided before we've examined it. And so if you're still with me, thank you, because my squirreled off brain does this occasionally. But why don't we just do the things, right? If we know what to do and we're just not doing them, why don't we just do them? Because it didn't make us not want weight loss any less or any more, right? We know what we want. We just are not doing it. So why are we not doing it? Let's investigate that for a second. For one, we have some conflicting ideas. So as I was talking, like, you're bringing in every diet rule, every social exposure, whether it's the TV or your social media or your friend who's been dieting. You're bringing all those things in, and then that's conflicting ideas. So we have a lot of ideas of what might work, but we really don't know what to do. So that definitive, I know what to do, I just don't do it. Maybe we're really not as definitive as we know. We don't have good information to start with. We have a lot of conflicting information. We think a lot of times that it must be hard for it to be effective. And then we make it harder. We make it harder. We think it has to be, all of it has to be done, every single rule, every single step. And then we make that harder and think that we are good or bad if we did or did not do it. So we just think it has to be hard to be really effective. And then we make it harder and harder and harder. We don't have a simple plan to follow. So when we don't have something simple, we think it has to be hard and we make it hard. Or even if we have this simple plan, sometimes just learning that simple is actually good enough. We don't have to complicate it. That's where we get into that thinking part, right? So if we think it will take too much time and we just simply don't see how it fits into our current schedule. So maybe sometimes that's why you've not been just doing it. So if you, now I'm quoting Nike quotes here, just do it. So you think it's going to take too much time. You envision all this time it's going to eat up of your life, right? I'll hear people say it takes too much time and it costs too much money. And I'm like, aren't you eating already anyway? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, so how much more time is it going to take? Do you make a grocery list before you go to the store? They're like, yeah. I'm like, do you pay for your groceries or somebody else paying for them? They're like, yeah, I pay for my groceries. I'm like, weren't you already ordering pizza a couple times a week? They're like, yeah. I'm like, so you have the money and you already have the time. You're already eating food. So like, what are you thinking costs more money and takes more time? And I'm going to address that, because then they'll say, but you're saying to work with you. And I do say work with me because it makes it faster. It makes it easier. So last part before I dive into that, and I want to make sure I hit that one home so that you can hear what I'm saying. When you think you can do it later, when it's a better time or you have more motivation, your thinking is putting off the failure. You're thinking that you're potentially going to fail because that's everything you've done in the past. You've had some success, but the lasting success was never there. So it was still a failure in your head, right? You're worried that that failure is going to happen again. You're worried you're not going to complete it again. You're worried it's going to be hard again. You're worried that you just don't know what to do. And so you like to say, as that bold, brave front, I know what to do. I just don't do it. And so I want you to be okay with not knowing everything. This one was hard for me. I'm still in the midst of reminding myself it's okay not to know everything. There's no reason for me to know everything. We have such great resources, people who have done it ahead of us, people who will support us as we're figuring it out. And it does not need every single step laid out. I was listening to a friend, and she used this quote that said, it was by Serena Hicks, and I want to grab this for you because it was a delicious quote. Serena Hicks, she is a life coach, And she said, it can happen fast. Impatience makes it take longer. It takes as long as it takes. I had to look that one up because I want to make sure I got it exactly right. That one hit me. I love it. I love it. I love it. And so where Einstein is saying, like, don't assume you know all of it without investigating, Serena Hicks says it can happen fast. Impatience makes it take longer, and it takes as long as it takes. So time is not part of the equation. Getting really good at just putting it in our day-to-day lives, not overcomplicating it, keeping it super simple, making it so that it supports the life you want, not takes over your entire life. Yes, you're going to get really intentional when you do have time dedicated to this. So I am talking about 5 whole dedicated minutes a day that you write down what you want to have. And so I like to do it before bed. I have read this book called The Gap in the Gain. You guys might have seen me referencing it on social a few times because every time I hit an aha, I was fired up and had to share it with you. So it says that, and I think Albert Einstein was quoted in that book again, but it was talking about how to not waste your sleeping hours. And so what they were talking about was how when you go to bed, right before you go to bed, they call it the sweet spot, the hour before bed, whatever you're considering or pondering or thinking about is going to be the best time to set yourself up for success for the next day. So your brain thinks on and solves problems for you while you're sleeping. And then the next morning you wake up and you're rested and you have like epiphanies out of nowhere because your brain just figured it out. All our worry and concern and all of the things that we drag ourselves back down in, they are not there while we're sleeping. All of that concern and worry. So when you wake up, you're ready, you're set, you have a plan, you're ready to go. You're not trying to figure it out in the last hour, which is actually your first hour of the day. So the last hour, the sweet spot, the hour before you go to bed, is going to be where you have the best thoughts. So like thinking great things about yourself. Take 5 minutes and make a plan for tomorrow. Set that intention, and then your brain's going to help you throughout the night decide how to make that happen. You wake up the next morning, you already have the plan, and you have the confidence in place to do it. I really, really want you to have that confidence, but not the kind of confidence that's false, not the fake confidence, that security blanket kind of confidence that says, yeah, I know what to do, I just don't do it. That's a reaction. It's a reaction so that you can save face in front of other people, so that you can protect yourself from failing again. I want you to have the kind of confidence like, I don't know what every step is going to be, but I know what I can do today. And maybe today is just giving me a call. So if that sounds like the perfect solution for you, guess what? I have a call that is free for you. I help you with personalized solutions for your weight loss. We will set up a plan that works specifically for you. You're not a cookie cutter, and you are amazing and special. I want to say you are the amazing snowflake when we've all been told we're not snowflakes before, but you are. You are absolutely amazing and special, and your issues are not exactly like everyone else's. So let's jump on a call. It'll be like 30 minutes, and we can set up exactly what will work for you. How you have tried before. We'll talk about that and what has and hasn't worked, because not everything was a failure. Some things had some success to them. So let's like cultivate that so that we have all of our successes and we're learning and we're growing and we're continuing on. We're not preventing what we want from happening. We are not afraid. We can do this together. So jump on a call with me. It is the website, coachingkara.com/free call. Super easy. You can schedule a time that works for you. There's a whole calendar there just waiting for you to pick a time to get started for yourself. I will talk to you next week. See you later. That wraps up another empowering episode of the Concierge Weight Loss Podcast. I hope you found inspiration and actionable insights that will propel you towards your weight loss goals. If you're ready to dive deeper and accelerate your progress,
Don't miss out on our free 5-day quick start weight loss course. Head over to coachingkara.com/free course to gain access to a wealth of valuable resources, guidance, and support. The time for change is now, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Remember, your transformation starts with a single step. Take that step today and unlock the life you deserve. Stay tuned for our next episode, and remember to keep striving for greatness.